Hyunwoo Park felt small as he walked through the giant metal halls of Harmony's Edge. The space station was bigger than any city on Earth. It floated in the empty space between stars, home to the Galactic Council. Today was his first day as Earth's new representative, and his hands were shaking. The meeting room was huge. Beings from 100 different worlds sat around a circular table that stretched as far as he could see. Some looked like giant insects. Others were made of living crystal. A few were just floating balls of light that spoke through machines, but the ones that caught his attention were the Valkyrie. They sat in the most honored seats, near the center of the great circle. The Valkyrie looked almost human, but taller and thinner. Their skin was pale blue and their eyes were completely black. Everyone said they were the oldest species in the galaxy. They had been traveling between stars for 50 million years, long before humans even existed. Hyunwoo had studied everything he could find about the Valkyrie. They claimed to have helped life grow on thousands of worlds. They were teachers, guides, and protectors of younger species. Every race in the galaxy respected them, except they would not look at him. During the long meeting, Hyunwoo noticed something strange. Whenever he tried to speak, the Valkyrie turned their heads away. When other species asked questions, the ancient beings answered with wisdom and kindness. But when Earth's turn came to speak, they became very quiet. Some even got up and left the room. Elder Theknara was the oldest Valkyrie in the council. She was their leader and spoke for her people, but every time Hyunwoo looked at her, she seemed uncomfortable. Her long fingers would tap on the table. Her black eyes would look anywhere except at him. This was not what Hyunwoo expected. Earth had finally joined the galactic community just 5 years ago. Humans were excited to learn from older, wiser species. The Valkyrie should have been happy to guide them, just like they did with everyone else. When the meeting took a break, Hyunwoo walked to the observation deck. Through the huge windows, he could see stars and distant planets. Everything looked so peaceful from here, but he felt confused and worried. He was about to return to the meeting when he heard voices speaking quietly nearby. Hyunwoo recognized Elder Theknara's voice immediately. She was talking to Counselor Velmuk from the Hegemony worlds. The Forbidden World grows stronger, Elder Theknara was saying. Her voice sounded afraid. Our sensors detect unusual energy patterns from their planet. You worry too much, Elder, Velmuk replied. They are just a young species. What harm can they do? You do not understand, Theknara said quickly. It is not them we fear. It is what watches over them, the ancient guardians that sleep beneath their world. We should never have allowed them into the council. Surely the old stories are just myths, Velmuk said. No. Theknara's voice became very serious. My ancestors kept detailed records. The Watchers are real. They have been sleeping for thousands of years, but signs show they may be waking. And if they do... Hyunwoo stepped closer, trying to hear better, but his shoe made a small noise on the metal floor. Both aliens turned toward the sound. When they saw him, they immediately stopped talking. Ambassador Park, Elder Theknara said coldly. I did not see you there. I was just enjoying the view, Hyunwoo said, trying to sound normal. The stars look beautiful from here. Indeed they do, she replied, but her black eyes showed fear. If you will excuse us, we have important matters to discuss. The two aliens walked away quickly, leaving Hyunwoo alone with many questions. What was the Forbidden World? Who were these Watchers or Guardians? And why did the mention of them make the oldest beings in the galaxy so afraid? Back on his quarters, Hyunwoo called Dr. So-Jin Kim. She was a scientist who studied alien life forms. She had come with him to the space station to help with the diplomatic mission. So-Jin, I need your help, he said when her face appeared on his communication screen. Can you access the Valkyrie archives? I need to know about something called the Forbidden World. So-Jin raised her eyebrows. That sounds mysterious. What did you find out? Hyunwoo told her everything he had heard. So-Jin listened carefully, taking notes on her computer. I can try to search their public records, she said. The Valkyrie are usually very open about sharing knowledge. If there are gaps in their history, that would be very strange. There is something else, Hyunwoo added. They mentioned guardians or watchers sleeping beneath a world, and they seemed to think it was connected to Earth somehow. So-Jin was quiet for a moment. That is very interesting. I will start searching right away. The Valkyrie keep records going back millions of years. If there are any clues, I will find them. After ending the call, Hyunwoo sat in his small room and looked out at the stars. He thought about Earth so far away from this place. His homeworld seemed so normal compared to all the strange and wonderful planets in the galaxy. Earth had blue oceans, green forests, and simple creatures. What could possibly make the oldest species in the galaxy afraid of it? 3 hours later, Sojin called him back. Her face looked worried. "Hyunwoo, I found something strange," she said. "There is a 10,000-year gap in the Val-3 historical records. No reports, no observations, no contact with other species, nothing." "When did this happen?" Hyunwoo asked. "It matches exactly with the end of the last ice age on Earth, the period when humans first started building cities and developing technology." Before Hyunwoo could reply, his door chimed. Someone was outside. He opened it, but no one was there. On the floor was a small data device with no markings. He picked it up and connected it to his computer. A message appeared on the screen in simple galactic common language. "Ask them about the Guardians. Ask them why they fear what sleeps beneath your world. The truth has been hidden too long. Humanity deserves to know what they really are." The message was not signed. Hyunwoo stared at the screen for a long time. Tomorrow he would have to find the courage to ask Elder Theknara these questions. He had a feeling that the answers would change everything humans thought they knew about their place in the galaxy. Hyunwoo could not sleep that night. He kept thinking about the mysterious message and the fear in Elder Theknara's voice. When morning came, he met with Dr. Sojin Kim and Captain Minho Lee in the station's cafe. Captain Lee commanded Earth's research ship, New Seoul, which was docked at the station. He was a practical man who did not believe in mysteries without proof, but when Hyunwoo showed him the anonymous message, his expression became serious. "Someone wants us to know the truth," Captain Lee said, reading the message again. "But why not tell us directly? Why all this secrecy?" "Maybe they are afraid," Sojin suggested. "If the Val-3 are scared of something, it must be very dangerous." Hyunwoo made a decision. "We need to talk to someone who might give us answers. But not Elder Theknara. She will never tell us anything." "What about the younger ones?" Sojin asked. "I have met Counselor Velthara. She seems different from the elders, more willing to talk with humans. They found Velthara in the station's garden section, a peaceful area with plants from many worlds. She was sitting alone, looking at a flowering tree from her home planet. When she saw them approaching, she did not try to leave like the other Val-3 did." "Counselor Velthara," Hyunwoo said politely. "May we speak with you?" She looked at them with her black eyes. Unlike the older Val-3, she did not seem afraid. Instead, she looked sad. "I wondered when you would come to me with questions," she said quietly. "Please sit down." They sat on a bench near the alien tree. Its flowers smelled like cinnamon and made soft musical sounds in the artificial breeze. "We know something is wrong," Hyunwoo said carefully. "The Val-3 avoid us. They fear something about Earth. We need to understand why." Velthara was quiet for a long time. She seemed to be fighting with herself about what to say. "My people have rules," she finally said. "Ancient laws that we must follow. One of these laws says we must never speak of the Forbidden Zone database to younger species." "What is that?" Sojin asked. "It is a list," Velthara explained. "A list of worlds that must never be approached. Worlds that are too dangerous for any species to visit or colonize." Captain Lee leaned forward. "How many worlds are on this list?" 47 worlds in this galaxy," Velthara said. "Each one is marked with danger levels. Most are rated as extreme hazard because of things like deadly diseases or unstable stars." She paused and looked directly at Hyunwoo. "But there is only one world with the highest rating. Only one world marked as Apex Predator World." Hyunwoo felt his heart beating faster. "Earth?" "Yes," Velthara whispered. "Your world has the highest danger rating in our entire database." "That makes no sense," Captain Lee said angrily. "Earth is peaceful. We have no weapons that could threaten the galaxy. We barely have the technology to travel between stars." "The rating is not because of humans," Velthara said quickly. "It is because of what else lives on your world. What has always lived there." Sojin pulled out her tablet and started taking notes. "Tell us about these other beings." Velthara looked around to make sure no one else could hear them. "Our oldest records call them the Primarchs. They are older than my people, older than any known species. They have power that makes them like gods. If they are so powerful, why have we never seen them?" Hyunwoo asked. "Because they choose to remain hidden," Velthara explained. "According to our records, they once ruled the galaxy. But millions of years ago, they grew tired of ruling over younger species. They decided to sleep instead. Sleep where? Captain Lee asked. In the deep places of your world, under your oceans, inside your mountains. They built great cities and machines that your people have never found, and there they wait. Sojin looked up from her notes. Wait for what? No one knows, Velthara said. But our ancestors believed the Primarchs were waiting for something important, something that would wake them from their long sleep. Hyunwoo thought about Dr. Yoonji Han, an archaeologist working back on Earth. She had been studying some unusual structures found on the ocean floor. Could those be connected to what Velthara was telling them? Counselor, he said carefully, have other species ever tried to conquer Earth? Velthara nodded sadly. 7 different species have attempted to claim your world in the past 10,000 years. All of them were young, aggressive races who thought they could take what they wanted. What happened to them? Captain Lee asked. They disappeared, Velthara said simply. Their ships, their people, their entire civilizations. Gone without any trace, as if they never existed at all. The 3 humans looked at each other. This was far more serious than they had imagined. Why are you telling us this? Sojin asked. You said your people have laws against sharing this information. Because I believe the old ways are wrong, Velthara said firmly. Humans have a right to know about their own world. And besides, she paused and looked worried. Strange things have been happening lately. What kind of strange things? Hyunwoo asked. Energy readings from your planet have been increasing over the past year. Our long-range sensors detect unusual activity in your deepest oceans and under your continents. It is as if something very large is beginning to wake up. Just then, Hyunwoo's communication device beeped. A message was coming through from Earth. It was Dr. Yoonji Han, the archaeologist he had been thinking about. Hyunwoo. Her voice came through clearly despite the great distance. I need to speak with you immediately. We have discovered something incredible in the Pacific Ocean. Something that should not exist. Velthara heard the message and her face became very pale. It has begun, she whispered. The awakening has begun. What awakening? Captain Lee demanded. But before Velthara could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the space station. Emergency lights flashed red. Over the station's communication system, a voice announced, all personnel report to emergency stations. Multiple unknown energy signatures detected from restricted space. Through the garden's transparent ceiling, they could see other ships in the area turning and flying away as fast as possible. But they were not fleeing from any enemy attack. They were running from the direction of Earth. Velthara stood up quickly. I must warn my people, she said. You should return to your world immediately. If the Primarchs are truly awakening, then everything in the galaxy is about to change. As she ran toward the Valkyrie section of the station, Hyunwoo called after her. Wait, how do we know if they are friendly or hostile? Velthara stopped and looked back at him. Her expression was filled with ancient fear. Ambassador Park, she said quietly. When gods wake from their sleep, it does not matter if they are friendly or hostile. What matters is whether they remember why they went to sleep in the first place. Then she was gone, leaving the 3 humans alone with questions that could determine the fate of their entire species. Captain Minho Lee wasted no time. Within 6 hours, the new soul was traveling through space toward Earth at maximum speed. Hyunwoo and Dr. Sojin Kim worked frantically in the ship's communication room, trying to contact Dr. Yoonji Han and other scientists on their home planet. The ship's crew was nervous. Engineer Tae Young-jo kept checking the engine readings, making sure they could reach Earth as quickly as possible. Communications expert. Nari Shin monitored space around them, looking for any signs of the energy signatures that had frightened everyone at the space station. I have Dr. Han on the line, Nari announced. Dr. Yoonji Han's face appeared on the main screen. She looked tired and excited at the same time. Behind her, Hyunwoo could see the inside of a research submarine. Thank goodness you're coming home, Dr. Han said. What I have found changes everything we thought we knew about Earth. Tell us what you discovered, Sojin said urgently. Dr. Han held up a tablet showing sonar images of the ocean floor. 3 days ago, our deep-sea scanners found structures in the Pacific Ocean that should not exist. They are 12,000 meters below the surface, far deeper than any human technology has ever been placed. She switched to another image. This one showed what looked like massive buildings rising from the ocean floor. The structures are enormous, Dr. Han continued. Some of them are taller than the biggest skyscrapers on Earth, but they are not made from any material we recognize. The metal seems to absorb our scanning beams instead of reflecting them. Captain Lee studied the images carefully. How old are these structures? Our dating equipment suggests they are at least 2 million years old, possibly much older. Dr. Han's voice was filled with wonder, but here's the strangest part. They are not abandoned ruins. They are still active. Active how? Hyun-woo asked. Power sources are running inside them. We detect massive energy flows throughout the entire complex, and 3 hours ago lights began turning on in sections that had been dark for who knows how long. So Jin felt a chill run down her spine. Dr. Han, you need to be very careful. We have learned things that suggest these structures might be extremely dangerous. I know the risks, Dr. Han replied, but this discovery is too important. I am taking a team down in our newest deep-sea vehicle. We should reach the structures in about 4 hours. No, Hyun-woo said quickly. Wait for us to arrive. Do not go down there alone. But Dr. Han shook her head. I cannot wait. The energy readings are increasing every hour. If something is waking up down there, we need to document it before it fully activates. The communication ended, leaving the crew of the New Seoul worried and frustrated. They were still 2 days away from Earth, traveling as fast as their engines could push them. Hyun-woo spent the next several hours researching everything he could find about Earth's ocean floors. He discovered that similar structures had been found in other deep parts of the ocean, but they had always been dismissed as unusual rock formations or tricks of sonar equipment. Dr. So-jin Kim worked with the ship's computers, analyzing the data Dr. Han had sent them. What she found made her very concerned. Captain Lee, she called. You need to see this. Captain Lee came to look at her screen, which showed a map of Earth with dozens of red dots marking locations around the planet. What are those markers? He asked. I cross-referenced Dr. Han's discovery with geological surveys from the past 50 years. So-jin explained. Every one of these red dots marks a location where unusual structures have been found, but never properly investigated. Hyun-woo counted the dots. There must be hundreds of them. More than that, So-jin said grimly. And look at the pattern they make. She zoomed out to show the entire planet. The red dots were not randomly scattered. They formed a careful network that covered the entire Earth, with major concentration points under every ocean and deep beneath the continents. It is like a giant circuit, Tae Young-jo said, looking over their shoulders, as if the entire planet is one massive machine. Before anyone could respond, Nari Shin called out from her station. Captain, I am receiving an emergency signal from Earth. The main screen activated, showing Dr. Sang-ho Choi, who was coordinating the ocean research from a surface vessel. New Seoul? Thank goodness I reached you, Dr. Choi said, his voice shaking with fear. Something terrible is happening down there. What is wrong? Captain Lee demanded. Dr. Han's team reached the underwater structures 2 hours ago. At first, everything seemed normal. They were sending back incredible images of halls and chambers that looked like they were built for giants. Dr. Choi paused to look at something off-screen, then continued. But then their presence triggered something. The entire complex began lighting up. Massive energy readings started appearing all over our instruments. And then, what happened? Hyun-woo asked, dreading the answer. We lost contact with their submarine, not just radio contact. We cannot detect them on any of our sensors. It is as if they simply vanished. So Jin felt sick. Are they dead? I do not know, Dr. Choi replied. But that is not the worst part. Since the underwater complex activated, we are detecting similar energy surges from sites all around the planet. The Himalayas, Antarctica, the deepest trenches of every ocean. Whatever Dr. Han's team woke up, it is spreading everywhere. The screen flickered and showed images from various monitoring stations around Earth. Each one showed the same thing. Massive energy spikes coming from deep beneath the surface. Captain Lee made a decision. Dr. Choi, evacuate all research teams from the ocean sites immediately. Get everyone as far away from those structures as possible. Already doing that, Dr. Choi confirmed. But Captain, there is something else. Something that makes no sense. Tell us. People all over the world are reporting strange dreams. The same dreams. They see vast underwater cities and hear voices speaking in languages that do not exist. Some people are even sleepwalking toward the ocean. Meanwhile, back at the space station Harmony's Edge, Hyun-woo had left a communication link open. Now Elder Theknara's face appeared on a secondary screen. Ambassador Park. the ancient Valtteri said, her voice filled with fear. We detect massive energy emissions from your world. The Primarchs are awakening faster than we expected. Can you help us? Hyunwoo asked desperately. Elder Theknara looked very sad. I am sorry, but we cannot. My people are already evacuating this sector of space. We advise you to do the same. We cannot abandon our planet. Captain Lee shouted. Then you may not survive what is coming, Elder Theknara replied. The last time the Primarchs were fully awake, they reshaped entire star systems according to their will. Mountains became valleys. Oceans became land. Species were created and destroyed in moments. The connection ended, leaving the humans alone with their fears. Dr. Choi's voice came through the speakers again. New Soul, I have one more report. Our satellites show that the ocean above the Pacific structures is beginning to glow. The water itself is becoming luminous. Through the ship's windows, Hyunwoo could see Earth growing larger as they approached. Even from space, he could see strange lights flickering beneath the planet's oceans. How long until we reach Earth? He asked Captain Lee. 18 hours, the captain replied. But I'm not sure what we will find when we get there. When the New Soul finally reached Earth, the planet looked different from space. Bright blue and green lights pulsed beneath the oceans like a giant heartbeat. Strange aurora patterns danced in the sky even though there was no solar storm activity. Commander Ji-hoon Bae contacted them immediately from the Orbital Defense Network. His face appeared on their main screen and he looked very worried. Captain Lee, thank goodness you are back, Commander Bae said. Earth is experiencing energy surges unlike anything we have ever seen. Every deep-sea monitoring station has detected massive power sources activating simultaneously. What about the missing research team? Hyunwoo asked. Still no contact with Dr. Han's submarine. But we have bigger problems now. The energy patterns are not random. They are spreading in a deliberate sequence like someone is turning on lights in a house room by room. Captain Lee brought the New Soul into Earth orbit and connected with the global communication network. Reports were coming in from every continent. Dr. Yoo-jin Seo, a pattern analyst working in Seoul, had been studying the energy readings for hours. Her voice came through the speakers as she shared her findings. The structures we thought were separate buildings are actually parts of one enormous system, Dr. Seo reported. Imagine Earth as a giant computer, and what we found in the Pacific Ocean is just one small part of the processor. How is that possible? So-jin asked. The network extends through the planet's crust and mantle. It connects underwater cities with structures buried deep under mountains and deserts. The entire planet appears to have been modified by advanced technology millions of years ago. This news made everyone on the New Soul very quiet. They were beginning to understand that Earth itself might be artificial, or at least changed by the mysterious Primarchs. But the most disturbing reports came from around the world about changes in human behavior. Pilot Haewon Park, Hyunwoo's sister, was stationed at a military base in Korea. She contacted her brother with an urgent message. Hyunwoo, something incredible is happening to our pilots, she said, her voice filled with excitement and fear. 3 hours ago, Lieutenant Kim was flying a training mission when his aircraft started responding to his thoughts instead of the controls. What do you mean? Hyunwoo asked. He thought about turning left, and the plane turned left without him touching the steering. He wanted to climb higher, and the engines increased power automatically. It was as if the machine could read his mind. Similar reports came from around the world. Dr. Bo-ram Kim, a quantum physicist in Tokyo, reported that her research equipment was responding to mental commands. Construction workers found they could operate heavy machinery just by thinking about what they wanted it to do. It is not just machines, Dr. Bo-ram explained during a global conference call. Humans are developing abilities we never had before. Some people can see energy fields around living things. Others can sense the emotions of people in nearby rooms. The most shocking discovery came from space. Captain Min-ho Lee was testing the New Soul systems when something impossible happened. The ship's navigation computer began showing him information that was not in its memory banks. Star charts of distant galaxies, technical blueprints for machines that did not exist. The ship is learning things from somewhere else, Captain Lee reported to ground control, as if it is downloading information from an external source. On the surface, the changes were becoming more dramatic. The glowing lights under the oceans were growing brighter. In some places, the seafloor was beginning to rise, revealing the tops of massive structures that had been hidden for millions of years. Dr. Sang-ho Choi, still coordinating research from his ship in the Pacific, sent back incredible images. Towers of unknown metal were emerging from the water, their surfaces covered with symbols that seemed to shift and change as people looked at them. The structures are not just becoming active, Dr. Choi reported. They are growing, rising up from the ocean floor like plants reaching toward sunlight. Then came the most frightening news of all. Commander Bay contacted the New Sol with an urgent warning. Captain Lee, our deep space sensors are detecting ships approaching from the edge of the solar system. Hundreds of them. Human ships? Captain Lee asked hopefully. No, they are using technology we do not recognize, and they are not trying to hide their approach. Whatever is happening on Earth, it has attracted attention from across the galaxy. Hyun-woo felt his heart sink. Are they hostile? Unknown, but they are all heading directly toward Earth at very high speed. Estimated arrival time is 6 hours. While the crew of the New Sol tried to understand what was happening, the changes on Earth continued to accelerate. People in coastal cities reported seeing lights moving beneath the waves. In the mountains, hiking trails led to cave entrances that had never existed before, but the most significant change was in the humans themselves. Dr. Eugene, CO, made another important discovery while analyzing global communication patterns. People around the world are beginning to share thoughts and dreams, she reported. Groups of individuals who have never met each other are having identical experiences. They are describing the same underwater cities, the same ancient voices, the same symbols. Hyun-woo thought about his own dreams during the journey from the space station. He had seen vast halls filled with beings of incredible beauty and power. He had heard voices speaking in harmonious tones that made him feel safe and afraid at the same time. Dr. CO, he said, are these shared experiences random? Or is there a pattern? Definitely a pattern. The people having the strongest experiences are those living near the energy surge sites. It is as if proximity to the awakening structures is enhancing human consciousness somehow. 6 hours later, the first alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere. But instead of attacking, they landed in remote areas and remained silent. Their crews did not try to make contact. They simply waited. Commander Bay monitored the alien vessels carefully. They are not threatening us, he reported. But they are not communicating either. It is as if they are waiting for something. The answer came at sunset. Dr. Yoon Ji-han, who everyone had assumed was lost, suddenly reappeared. Her research submarine surfaced in the Pacific Ocean near Dr. Choi's monitoring ship, but when she stepped onto the deck, everyone could see that she had changed. Her eyes now held flecks of the same blue light that glowed beneath the oceans. When she spoke, her voice had a quality that made everyone listen carefully. The Primarchs have been waiting for this moment, Dr. Han said calmly. They have been sleeping until humanity was ready to inherit what they left behind. Inherit what? Dr. Choi asked. Dr. Han smiled, and her expression held wisdom that seemed far older than her years. The responsibility of protecting this galaxy from threats that come from beyond the stars. The alien ships that just arrived are not invaders. They are refugees fleeing from something terrible that destroyed their homeworlds. She looked up at the sky where more alien ships were arriving every hour. The Primarchs knew this day would come. They prepared Earth and its people to be ready. Now the awakening is complete, and humanity must decide whether to accept our true purpose or remain as we were. In orbit above Earth, Hyun-woo watched the lights beneath the oceans pulse in a rhythm that seemed almost like breathing. The planet itself was waking up, and with it the destiny of the human race. The transformation of Earth continued through the night. As dawn broke over the Pacific Ocean, something magnificent emerged from the depths. A city of crystal and light rose from the seafloor, its spires reaching toward the sky like the fingers of a sleeping giant finally stretching. After a long rest, Hyun-woo watched from the observation deck of the New Sol as the impossible city breached the ocean surface. Water cascaded from its towers in brilliant waterfalls that seemed to defy gravity, flowing upward in spirals of liquid light. Dr. Yoon Ji-han's voice came through the communication system, but now she was not alone. Other humans around the world were speaking in harmony with her, their voices joining together as if they shared one mind. Do not be afraid, they said together. We are still human, but we are also something more now. Ambassador Myung Kang, who had been Earth's representative to the inner colonies, appeared on the main screen. She stood on the observation deck of a building in Seoul, But behind her, the city looked different. Ancient structures of impossible beauty had risen between the modern buildings, their surfaces glowing with soft light. "The Primarchs are speaking through us," Mi-Young explained, her eyes now holding the same blue light as Dr. Han's. "They want to explain what is happening." The air around Mi-Young seemed to shimmer, and suddenly she was not alone. A figure of pure energy stood beside her, tall and graceful, with features that seemed to shift between different forms of beauty. "I am Elder Primarch Aeon," the being said, its voice like music made of starlight. "I speak for those who have slept beneath your world." Captain Lee, Engineer Tae-Young-jo, and the rest of the crew gathered around the main screen. Even though they were looking at something beyond their understanding, they felt no fear. Instead, they felt a strange sense of coming home. "We did not abandon the galaxy," Aeon continued. "We withdrew to protect it. For millions of years, we have been watching and waiting, guarding against threats from beyond the stars." The screen changed to show images of space far beyond any galaxy. In the darkness between star systems, massive shapes moved like shadows given form. They consumed everything in their path: planets, stars, entire civilizations. "These beings feed on consciousness itself," Aeon explained. "They destroyed the galaxy that existed before this one, and the one before that. They are patient, and they are coming here." General Dong Hyun Lim, commanding Earth's military forces, stepped forward. "How long do we have?" "They have already arrived at the edge of this galaxy," Aeon replied. "The alien refugees landing on your world fled from systems that these entities consumed. The invasion has begun." As if responding to these words, alerts began sounding from monitoring stations around Earth. Commander Ji-hoon Bae's voice came through urgently. "Massive energy signatures detected at the galactic rim. Something is destroying entire star systems and moving toward the inner worlds." But instead of panic, the humans felt a strange calm settling over them. The awakening Primarch technology was not just changing their consciousness, it was preparing them for this moment. Pilot Soo-bin Cho, flying a patrol mission near Earth, gasped as her aircraft transformed around her. The metal hull became something like living crystal, and her mind expanded to encompass not just her own ship, but an entire fleet of vessels that rose from hidden bases around the planet. "I can feel them all," she whispered in wonder. Hundreds of ships, thousands of people, all connected through the Primarch network. Engineer Woo Jin-yoon, working at a power station in Canada, found that he could now understand and control machines that had emerged from the Earth itself. Weapons that could bend space and time, shields that could protect entire continents, engines that could move faster than light itself. "The technology is not separate from us," he reported in amazement. "It responds to our will because we are part of it now." Dr. Seola Nam, a medical researcher in Australia, discovered that the Primarch awakening had given humans the ability to heal not just people, but entire ecosystems. Plants withered by pollution were becoming green again. Animals thought extinct were returning to life. "We are not just inheriting their technology," she realized. "We are becoming what they were, guardians of life itself." The first wave of the consciousness-eating entities arrived at the outer planets of the solar system. They were formless things of hunger and darkness, seeking to devour the thoughts and dreams of every living being. But they found something they had never encountered before. Humanity, enhanced by Primarch technology and united by shared consciousness, fought back with weapons made of pure thought and will. The battle was not just in space, but in the realm of mind and spirit. Hyunwoo felt himself becoming part of something vast and beautiful. His individual consciousness expanded to include the minds of everyone on Earth, and together they formed a network of incredible power. Through this network, he could see the enemy clearly, not as evil, but as natural forces that had to be stopped to protect everything humans loved. The battle lasted 3 days. Pilot Soo-bin led fleets of crystal ships that moved through space like schools of luminous fish, striking at the shadow entities with beams of concentrated consciousness. Engineer Woo Jin operated planetary defense systems that created barriers of solid light around entire worlds. Dr. Seola coordinated healing networks that restored damaged planets and brought dead worlds back to life. When the last of the consciousness eaters was driven back beyond the galactic rim, a great silence fell over the galaxy. The Primarchs, their purpose fulfilled, began to return to their long sleep. But before Elder Primarch Aeon faded from view, it spoke one last time to humanity. "You are ready now," it said with pride in its musical voice. "The galaxy is yours to protect. Guard it well as we guarded it before you." In the months that followed, the galaxy slowly returned to normal, but everything had changed. The Valthree, who had fled in fear, returned to find humans welcoming them with understanding and forgiveness. Elder Theknara, her ancient prejudices replaced by wonder, bowed deeply to Hyunwoo when they met again. "We were wrong to fear you," she admitted. "We did not understand that you were the children of our greatest teachers." Hyunwoo, now bearing the title Speaker for the Sleeping Gods, stood before the reformed Galactic Council. Representatives from 1,000 worlds looked to Earth for guidance and protection. "We are humanity," he said, his voice carrying the wisdom of the Primarchs while remaining distinctly human. "We are the inheritors of an ancient trust. We will guard this galaxy as our creators guarded it before us, and we will prepare the way for those who come after us." The council chamber filled with beings from across the stars, no longer divided by fear or prejudice, but united in the knowledge that they were all protected by the descendants of the galaxy's most ancient guardians. Through the great windows of the space station, Earth could be seen in the distance. Its ocean still glowed with soft blue light, and sometimes, if you looked carefully, you could see the spires of the Primarch cities rising from the depths. The galaxy was safe, and deep beneath the waves of Earth, the Primarchs smiled in their dreams and settled back into their eternal rest, knowing that their children would carry on their work among the stars. Humanity had finally come home to its true purpose, not as conquerors or destroyers, but as guardians of all life in the cosmos. The galaxy's oldest species no longer avoided Earth. Instead, they came seeking wisdom from the world where gods slept, and their children stood watch over the infinite sea of stars.